Hello again. We're back here. We've seen each other quite a lot over the last few days. We would like to close this communication space that we opened up while explaining to you the following thing. It's been a while now that we have been thinking about communication and reading about communication, and we everything we've learned we apply it in our daily lives with our patients, with our peers, our physicians, in the media, in interviews, on TV, on air, and we realized that what is said, a lot of what is said traditionally in terms of homeopathy, is not understood well. Some things are sometimes not exactly real, and some really harmed us a lot. Over the last 2 days, we have had the privilege to share with you all the techniques of the values that we've learned over the last few years. It's important to be aware of the fact that what the other understands, that's most important. We need to approach them with an attitude that enables contact so that we can transmit simple and positive messages that the other person can understand and that is interested in. We need to accompany them without crushing them with emotions that surround them so that they can remember us. You can use these ideas to communicate in an efficient way in all areas, everywhere, and let's just like Gualberto says, from our experience, when you start applying these techniques and tools, you realize that it's very useful to have clear examples and concrete messages. And this is what we're going to give you now, so that you can own them. You can work on them, think about them, and apply them from tomorrow onwards. So let's go ahead. Doctor, I would like to know what homeopathy is. Homeopathy is a therapeutic tool that physicians can use as one resource amongst others to treat more efficiently patients. What's very interesting in homeopathy is that it sets in regulation mechanisms and cure mechanisms of patients. You need to take a global approach. Doctor, is it true that homeopathic drugs don't have side effects? They are the safest that you can find in any pharmacy. Side effects are light, transitory, and not very frequent, as proves our clinical trials and all the studies that have been carried out up to now. My physician told me that homeopathy doesn't work, that it's only water with sugar diluted in it. Listen, now we have enough studies. There are lab studies that prove that homeopathy has active principles and a concrete biological action at the cell level. And I would go even further. As a clinician, what is more important for me, is my experience. On a daily basis, I can see what homeopathy brings when treating my patients. Not only my human patients, but also my peers who are pet doctors and who see this in animals, in pets, and also in farm animals with the vets. Doctor, I'm very interested in something. How does homeopathy work? It's very interesting because it activates the resources of the body to regulate and to heal. No, but I mean the action mechanism of homeopathy. Well, you need to talk about the mechanism of action of each of the homeopathic drug, and you discover more and more mechanisms homeopathic drugs, such as the one that regulates anxiety, that was studied globally in reviews that are state-of-the-art in science. Dr. Quiroga, between physicians, the Australian government has published a very famous report that proves that homeopathy is a mere placebo. Listen, Gualberto, the report there's a doubt that has been cast on, and there are other reports, like the Swiss government report, where the conclusions are really favorable for homeopathy, and that has a major influence to include homeopathic drugs in the Swiss health system, just like in other countries, France and Germany, as you know. And this go hand in hand with what the WHO says, the World Health Organization, that recommends to member states to include traditional and complementary medicines, amongst which you find homeopathy, together with medication in their health care system. Tell me, doctor, I don't want to do chemotherapy, so I would like you to treat my cancer through homeopathy. Listen, homeopathy cannot heal you from cancer and doesn't treat it. What I can do with homeopathy is to help you with your treatment. We can increase your life quality, the side effects of this oncological treatment that indeed can treat and heal your cancer. If, as you pointed out, doctor, homeopathic physicians say that as well, that homeopathic drugs are so diluted that there's no molecule. How can something that has no molecule, how can it act? First of all, homeopathic drugs are made when you dilute and dynamize raw materials. So there's always real active principles that have specific biological effects, and this is proven by over 2,000 experiences published in scientific reviews. Doctor, if homeopathy works so well, why didn't you manage to prove it in scientific study? But there are scientific studies. There are over 1,500 labs that prove the effects, and even more studies that prove the efficacy of homeopathy in real practice. Let me give you an example. In PubMed, it's the database that physicians use. There are over 6,500 references. In France, for instance, a study has been carried out that gave rise to a lot of publications, and that proves that there are effects and lesser use of psychotropes and anti-inflammatory and antibiotics thanks to the use of homeopathy. And this is a major advantage in our current society. Tell me, doctor, what do you think about the fact that patients give up their treatments from traditional medicine, the one that really works, to use therapies like homeopathy, where it has clearly proven that it doesn't work and it's a fraud? Why are you saying that? Well, I say it because I read it in the newspapers the other day. Listen, you can read a lot of things in the press. As a physician, what counts for me are studies. What do they say? Well, that patients are looking for added benefits and to increase the treatment. They want to have more options of treatment and not to have less than. And that's what counts for me. And thank you. Now you really shed a light on my knowledge. Well, there you go. These have been a few examples. We made a few videos and we didn't know if we needed to ask the interpreters to interpret questions and answers. Aside from these examples, know that there are others, and we can fill them and put subtitles, and it'll be available in the next CEDH review, and in the article on the Congress. We'll also add examples of concrete responses. Some of you have asked me to do so. Now I would like to spend an additional minute to share something with you. From all my heart, from the bottom of my heart, thanks to homeopathy, today I'm a better physician. And thanks to communication, and thanks to homeopathy, I'm a better doctor. And thanks to communication, I use homeopathy better and I am a better person. For me, it's very brief. I would like to say that in this context of homeopathy and communication, what I feel deep inside of me is that communication and homeopathy and communication, they are inseparable realities. I agree with what Gualberto says. I think that thanks to homeopathy, you can help people. And this makes me a better physician and a better person. And thanks to communication, I have learned that if you change words, you can change the world. And as Gandhi said, be yourself, be ourselves, let's be ourselves. Let's be the change that we want to see in the world. Thank you to you all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for setting an example and for having shared these communication keys concretely on top of the work that has been done in the two previous sessions. I would like to say, with everything that we have heard and shared, thanks to you, a word came to my mind. Let's dare to communicate, dare to show who we really are and what we bring. And with what you have shared with us, we can really do so. Thank you to the three of you. Thank you very much.